There was a report last night in Wall Street Journal that former Secretary Clinton's chief of staff had, that her staff had negotiated with record specialists here in the department about what would and wouldn't be released in FOIA requests. Is there any truth to that report?
Well, I saw the story. I'm certainly not in a position to respond to, I think, all unnamed sources in the story. And look, I have no knowledge or information to confirm the claims made in this report. I wasn't here. I have nothing to confirm them. It's entirely appropriate for various department personnel to be made aware of documents that could potentially respond to FOIA requests received by the department. And no matter who provides guidance, though, and who's in that process, the department only withholds materials that are exempt or excluded from public release under terms spelled out in the Freedom of Information Act, which I know we are all becoming increasingly familiar with. And that's what governs what is ultimately released.
So
those standards in FOIA.
Would it ever be appropriate for any State Department personnel to advocate for a document not to be released?
I'm just not going to address that
conditions?
kind of hypothetical.
I'm sorry, I thought you just sort of said, are you saying that it wouldn't be inappropriate for people in those positions
to be made aware of documents that
or to negotiate in any way with the FOIA office?
I said to be made aware of documents that could potentially respond to FOIA. I also said I have no information to confirm the claims made by unnamed sources in a report.
Would it be appropriate for a member of the Secretary's staff or inappropriate for a member of the Secretary's staff to negotiate with the FOIA
I'm just
office?
not going to address that kind of hypothetical.
Oh, but that's not a hypothetical.
It is. It depends on who the.
That's just a question.
It's a question that is a hypothetical one, Justin, that addresses an unnamed Secretary staff member, an unnamed FOIA request. Right?
Okay.
That's not a specific
question. Would it be
question.
inappropriate for you or someone in
I'm not
your
on the
office
Secretary's staff.
to negotiate with the FOIA office? Is that inappropriate?
I'm just not going to address a broad question like that. As I said, what gets released under FOIA, you can be frustrated, Justin, but as I just said,
it's like an unfair question.
As I just said, what is released under the Freedom of Information Act is guided by what guidelines are in the Freedom of Information Act and what is releasable and not releasable under those guidelines. That is what determines what's released publicly, no matter who is aware of what's going on in this process.
I think the issue wasn't that people were made aware, is that they held up processes or that they slowed down.
As I said, I read the story. I'm not in a position to confirm those claims.
Do any members
These are made by
of the
unnamed sources.
Do any
I wasn't
members
here at the time.
of the Secretary's current staff take part in the FOIA process? Not talking about people in the FOIA office, talking about in his 7th floor staff, take part in the FOIA process, discuss ongoing FOIA related responses.
As I said, it's entirely appropriate. There are a number of people here who are part of the FOIA process, not just the FOIA office. It's subject matter experts who are from the different bureaus who weigh in on FOIA requests because FOIA officers don't always have the substantive knowledge to know what can be released and what can't be under various exemptions, as you know. So in theory, there's a lot of people who can be involved quite appropriately in this process as we do it here. All I know is how we do the process. It's not unthinkable that someone could be made aware of a discussion about an ongoing FOIA request. There are a lot of pieces to this and pieces from different offices, whether it's the Office of the Legal Advisor, who's not part of FOIA, who also plays a key role. It's other agencies when we have to do the interagency process if they have equities. So there's a number of different people that are aware of ongoing FOIA requests and part of a discussion.
Not hypothetically, what guidance is currently given to those senior staff about what is and isn't appropriate for them?
I'm happy to check in and see that. But again, it's not inappropriate for senior staff members to be made aware of FOIA requests and participate in discussions about them. Again, that doesn't govern what eventually gets released. There's a lot of people that are a part of this process.
Do FOIA officials on their own know every instance which information is classified versus unclassified?
No, that's why there's subject matter experts who on each document that gets released under FOIA, let's say it's a hypothetical topic A, you have a subject matter expert A from a bureau who will look at that and make a recommendation, for example, because FOIA officers aren't subject matter experts on every issue we deal with and every issue that gets FOIA'd. And the Office of the Legal Advisor plays a role. They're not part of FOIA. They obviously play a role. Many times other agencies, we have to coordinate with them on our releases because they have their equities or people CC'd on emails from their organizations.
So the point is that the Office of the Legal Advisor's involvement to you doesn't raise any flags. It would be normal procedure.
Correct. Having an attorney who's an expert in FOIA, look at what we release under FOIA seems to be pretty prudent practice to me. What else?